How's it going, everyone? My name is Michael SK, and welcome back to Fate Stay Night Remastered. The past couple of episodes, really the past 10 episodes, really the entire playthrough has been fantastic, but yeah, more specifically the previous episode, we had a very interesting showdown, not a fight, but a confrontation between Shirou and Archer, which if you guys have not watched the previous episodes, please do, or if you've not played the game, please do, because Archer is a future version of Shirou. He's not necessarily Shirou's future. You know, Shirou can definitely change things around, and plus, whenever you start getting the idea of time and like a potential multiverse thing going on here, because Archer and the other servants, heroic spirits, guardians, they're kind of like outside the realm of the timeline or whatever. Yeah, things get a little weird, but regardless, a really good confrontation, a really good conversation between them. But they're going to fight to the death 100%. Like, one of them will die at least. Saber is spectating that. Lancer is going to go and try to fight Gilgamesh, but obviously we know how that's going to go down. It's not going to go well for Lancer, not at all. But he might be able to kill Shinji. That'd be alright. He easily tracks his target down. Lancer may seem as if he specializes in combat, but he is actually quite skilled at magecraft. He learned to master more than just Bolg in that arcane fortress called the Land of Shadows. He's a hero because he learned the 18 primordial runes. Primordial or primordial? Whatever. Of course, he rarely flaunts his magical skills because he prefers to fight with a spear rather than magecraft. Today is one of those rare occasions.
Yes.
He drops something which had been running on the ground. A rock inscribed with the Berkano rune returns to being a mundane pebble, its task complete. A boy he has not seen before stands up in a panic. The shrill voice sounds familiar. Lancer retracts that thought and realizes who this is. He breaks off. Rin Tosaka is behind the boy. She's tied to a chair. That's fine. She's being held captive, so that makes sense. But several details stand out. First, her chair is tipped over. Since Rin Tosaka is tied to the chair, she's on the ground too. There's sand in her long black hair and something red around her mouth. She probably cut her lip. It's slight, but one can make out bruising around her lips. What do you mean, the deal? A casual fist plants itself in Shinji Mato's cheek. Lancer's trivial backhand sends the boy crashing into a wall. His fist slipped, what can we say? He looks unconscious, but not dead. Granted, if Rin Tosaka's face had been a little paler and her clothes more disheveled, it would not have ended with just a knockout. He would have paid a heavy price. Okay, so I kind of threw out like a really silly prediction in the previous episode, but I do have to wonder, who is Lancer's master? Why is he trying to protect her? You know, why is he so protective of her? And I don't know, like, he was willing to change his mind to actually join Shirou and Saber to go save Rin. It's just very odd, really, how Lancer has sort of participated in all of this. To be clear, Lancer doesn't care about the treatment of prisoners, but he doesn't like it when someone else steals his prey. Of course, enemies he kills and women that he's fond of both count as his prey. Glad that we got that explanation there. Rin Tosaka wonders aloud from her bound position. Her voice sounds sleepy, as if she was unconscious. Lancer approaches her with an out-of-place greeting. His crimson spear materializes in a whirl of air. Rin's warning makes him turn. Someone even he didn't expect stands there. In the corner of the room, with firm footsteps, a man walks past where Shinji Mato pancaked into the wall. What the fuck? So he is alive. Oh my god. I mean, there was that hint with, shit. Was it Kuzuki? Was it Kuzuki asking, Caster if, you know, she was sure that, you know, she killed him and everything? I mean, it's possible if that was just a fake, you know, not even his corpse. You know, that's just somebody else. Kirie Kodomine, who they thought Caster killed. Rin yelps in surprise. Lancer glares suspiciously at the priest. Okay, so that is still his master. Gotcha. Shinji Mato groans underneath the rubble. The priest doesn't even spare him a glance. I mean, this is something that I can fully understand, you know? It's as Rin said, and it's as we could have maybe guessed even many episodes ago, that Kodomine could not have just been killed like that, especially after what we have seen of him in the previous route. No, there's just no way. So I'm not very surprised by this, but in a way I am. The priest chuckles. His expression is that of a priest blessing someone on their deathbed. A chill runs down Rin's back. She realizes what her fate is. The priest looks down at his apprentice of 10 years with a saintly smile. Lancer stands between his master and the girl, glaring. The priest walks past Lancer to look at the girl sprawled on the floor. Rin glares up at her former mentor. Yeah, ain't that the truth right there? The priest frowns. It seems that he wasn't expecting her to say that. His lips twist into a sneer. The priest gazes down with a look of true elation. And then everything falls into place. Reen's face goes pale and she stares up at the man who mentored her for 10 years with an incredulous look.
そう。殺したのはあんただったんだ。
当然だろう。恩師であったからな。騙し討ちはたやすかった。
And there's a grinding noise. The girl is staring at the ground, gritting her teeth in anguish. Wow.
行き場に迷えクソ神父。断言してやるけど、あんたに居場所なんてないんだからね。地獄だってあんたみたいなのは願い下げで、煉獄だって他の連中がずぶとくなる点でたらい回しよ。
Wow.
あんたみたいな生き損ないはね、性に合わない天国あたりで針のむしろにくるまってろっての。
Alright. Man, like, I get it. I understand why she's this angry. I do. In a rage, she hurls abuse after abuse at him. And of course, the priest is unbothered by such trifles. Someone else is taken aback by the girl's sudden fit, however. Shinji has never imagined that Rin could bear such emotion, even in his dreams.
琴峰、遠坂は僕がもらったんだって知ってるだろう。あいつに用があるのは僕だけだ。あんたはただ教会でこっちの守備を待ってればいいんだよ。
I knew that Shinji and Kotomine were at one point working together. I mean, we did see that interlude where Shinji did go to the church and ask for Kotomine's help. Kotomine obviously offering Shinji another chance here in the war. So obviously they're gonna be working together. I just thought that, well, Kotomine really did hit the bucket, or kick the bucket, excuse me.
いや、用ならばある。彼女にはここで聖杯になってもらわねばならないからな。
Shinji doesn't understand what the priest is saying. How? Wasn't the term vessel used earlier? Only the priest and the girl he intends to sacrifice do.
アーチャーとセーバーが消えればいい加減頃合いだ。いらぬ抵抗され、鮮度を落とされても困る。ことは迅速に済ませてしまおう。
The priest steps away from the girl. Only Lancer is in front of Rin now, armed with his spear.
琴峰、貴様。そのゴミを始末しろ、ランサー。器に心臓はいらん。
Only Shinji reacts to those words. Rin just glares at the priest, gnashing her teeth. The priest's smile already told her that she's going to die here. She knows that no help is coming, and that no one near her or would hear her even if she begged for help. So she absolutely refuses to snivel. It's the only form of resistance that she can offer, and it represents her defiance. She won't give up until the very end. Help might still come at the last possible second, or a miracle might even occur, like something that destroys the entire room, leaving only her intact. You never really know. She won't give up, but she knows what is and is impossible. That's why she isn't very scared. There's just one thing that she's worried about. It's awkward to imagine what face he'll make when he comes to save her after she's dead. She doesn't want to make him cry. It pisses her off thinking that she'll make him cry, and she doesn't know how to apologize for it. Of course, she can't apologize if she's dead, but she still doesn't want him to cry. So she apologizes now while she still can. It doesn't matter, but at least it, makes her feel more at ease.
どうしたランサー。相手は少女だ。貫くのはたやすかろう。
The priest has no mercy. However,
お断りだ。今回のは従えねえ。俺にやらせたかったら、その霊樹でも使うんだな。
Lancer answers Rin's enemy with defiance.
何?
The priest narrows his eyes. Master and servant glare daggers at each other, and the temperature in the room seems to drop.
そうか。仕方あるまい。自分でできることに霊樹を消費するわけにはいかんのだが。
Then do it yourself. The priest lifts his left arm. He activates the command spells inscribed on it.
では命じよう。自害しろ、ランサー。
Well, I wasn't expecting that one. And Lancer's out. Lancer coughs blood, but the red droplets that dribble from his mouth pale in comparison to the torrent of blood gushing from his chest. His murmur can't even be heard. Lancer has stabbed himself through the chest with his own spear, completely destroying his heart. I really actually feel bad here for Lancer. I didn't really give a shit in the previous route, but here, no, I do kind of feel bad. The azure armored spearman collapses to the floor. Pooling scarlet seeps into the floor. Lancer shows no sign of getting up. He has fallen by his own spear, on his master's orders. The thing is, it is crazy to see just how powerful Lancer really is. I mean, he definitely outdoes Archer. We've already seen that. He could probably outdo Saber in a way. We almost did see that. I don't know who else he could outdo. Maybe Ryder. Maybe he can take Ryder on. Caster, I don't know. Caster's kind of a weird one. Assassin, maybe. I don't know. Lancer is definitely a very powerful servant in the grand scheme of things. He is actually a really powerful being. But yes, he is dead. The priest moves. He approaches Reen with easygoing steps and takes a knee next to her. He reaches out with a hand to the bound girl's chest as if to pluck her heart out. The priest glances at Shinji without answering. What does that mean? Shinji winds his back to Lancer's corpse. But his protests die off. The boy cowers away from the priest's severe gaze. The priest looks back down at the girl. A simple concession.
こういう時の私が何を考えているか、あんたなら知ってるはずでしょ?
Reen answers him in her usual tone.
そうだな。最後まで諦めないのがお前だ、リン。同時に覆らない現実を瞬時に認めるのもお前の素晴らしさだ。いいぞ。その矛盾はなかなかに芳醇だ。
He doesn't hesitate. The priest roughly shoves his hand into the girl's chest over where her heart would be. She closes her eyes. Oh no, dude. There's a stabbing sound. Shinji, please tell me you did the right thing here. Please. If there's any redemption, please, this is now. Shinji, you piss me off like all the fucking time in this visual novel. But please, let it be that after, what, like 76 episodes and many hours of having to deal with your whiny dumbass, that you actually come to be the person that I am most grateful for in this moment. Please. A heart is pierced and blood spills out. The stone room becomes a tomb for yet another dead body. We're not going to know which one it is. We're not going to know if Konomine actually did kill Reen. Well, hold on now. Hold on. Reen is the one who gasps. The floor is drenched in blood. The dripping comes from somewhere high up. From the floor, Reen looks up to see that it's coming from the priest's chest. Blood rises from his esophagus. The hole in his chest is obviously a fatal wound, and the thing that stabbed him from behind is none other than a cursed spear known especially for piercing. The priest feels no emotion. He simply looks at Lancer behind him, blood running from his mouth. God damn, it wasn't even Shinji. Shinji's still fucked up. He didn't do shit. It had to be Lancer even after death.
この程度でくたばれるんならよ、俺は英雄になんぞなってねえ。
Lancer's sardonic tone clearly sounds like a bluff. There isn't a hint of vitality in it. Without a heart, his body is already starting to fade. He pulls his spear out of Kodamine, who collapses lifelessly to the ground. Trained in the arcane and blessed by the divine he might have been, but he was still only human. There was no surviving a thrust to the heart from Lancer's cursed spear.
たく、結局こうなったか、たけ。
Lancer leans his crumbling body against a wall, but it buys him little time. After collapsing once, he's bound to disappear for good. He's lost his heart and his master. The only reason his body is somehow still holding together is because of his legendary tenacity.
いいじゃんいいじゃん。バカどもは勝手に殺し合ってたよ。
God damn it, Shinji. This fucking guy.
シンジ
Shinji's cackling brings Rin back to her senses after watching the priest die.
何が聖杯は君のものだ。だよ。役立たずは最後まで役立たずだったな、神父さん。
Father as in like daddy, or father as in like, you know, priest? Probably the latter, but Shinji kicks the priest's body. It doesn't move at all. Pleased with himself, the boy kicks the priest's face as hard as he can, making a dry, crunching noise. The sound and sensation delight Shinji more than he expected.
けど文句は言わないでおくよ。さっきのことは根に持ってないし、死んじゃったやつにあれこれ言うのはみっともないしさ。
Shinji snickers. Having lost all reservations, he closes in on Rin eagerly.
待たせたね、遠坂。いろいろ邪魔が入ったけど、これでようやく二人きりだ。残るサーバントもあと3人。ここで君が泣き疲れた頃には、全部型がついてるさ。
Why would she be crying? Shinji scrambles forward on all fours like a lizard looming over Rin. Man, I gotta watch the anime. I hope they adapt this like extremely well and capture like every bit of detail.
けどよかった。
I want to see that.
お前には
I want to see Shinji's lizard scramble.
ほんと困るよ、遠坂。簡単に死なれちゃあさ。ここまで我慢してきた僕に申し訳がないってもんだろ。さあ、こびてみろよ、遠坂。お前の態度次第で助けてやらないこともないぜ。
Yeah, that's not happening.
それに、聖杯はもう僕のものだ。ここで僕のものになるって言うなら、お前にだって分けてやっても。
呆れた。本当にバカじゃないの？
Tied up and on the ground, Rin scoffs like she's talking to a child.
なんだって？
まだ懲りないのかって言ってるのよ、シンジ。あんたは綺麗にいいように使われてただけでしょ。いい？あのサーバントは扱いきれるものじゃない。そんなこと近くにいるんだからあんただって分かってるでしょ。ならいい加減目を覚ましてこんな殺し合いから手を引けっていうの。今ならまだ間に合うのはそっちの方よ。死にたくなかったら1秒でも早くここから逃げ出しなさい。
何を言い出すかと思えば結局は命乞いじゃんか。バカはお前だよ、遠坂。目障りな琴峰は死んだんだぜ。今さら何が僕の邪魔をするって言うんだ。
Well, haha, about that. Shinji reaches for Rin's body, but the second he does,
おい、
he goes flying for a second time. Shinji slams into the wall again.
ガキが。そいつはてめえなんかが触れていい女じゃねえ。
Wait a minute. Lancer glances at Shinji and lazily walks over to Rin. How is he still alive?
何？死に損ないの分際で僕に意見しようっていうの？
The spearman stops. He turns and faces Shinji.
おとなしく寝ていれば苦しまずに死ねたってのにな。 さっきといい今度といい、お前楽には殺さないからな。ほら出番だぜギルガメッシュ。こいつカッコつけて死にたいんだってさ。
Shinji raises his voice. He calls for his servant, the mightiest slayer of heroes.
おいなんだよ、何やってんだよあいつ。聞こえないのか。早く来いって言ってるだろ。
His voice rings out. The golden servant does not appear. The bloody blue spearman takes a step towards Shinji.
くそくそくそくそくそ。なんだよお前、死に損ないのくせに何かっこつけてんだよ。消えろよ。目障りだってわかんないのかよこの化け物。
A strike whips out. A single precise strike, like a flash of light, stabs Shinji in the right shoulder. His scream fills the room. Lancer withdraws his spear, looking bored. He puts his face in front of Shinji's.
うせろ。死に損ないでもな。お前程度なら1000人殺したところで支障はない。
Man, Shinji is like the biggest pussy, I swear. Like, I know the personality that they've given him here. Like, he tries to act all tough, but as soon as anything threatening is in his way, he cowers. But once that thing is gone, he's right back to trying to be a big shot. And then it's just back and forth. Hugging the wall and cowering away from the spear pointed at him, Shinji leaves the room in a mad scramble.
たく、無駄な体力使わせやがって。
With a heavy sigh, Lancer walks back over to Rin. The wind-cutting spear severs her bindings like tissue paper.
ありがとう。助かったわ、ランサー。
Yeah, honestly, Lancer's the real hero in this fucking route. Rin thanks him for her freedom. She bows to Lancer, ignoring the filth around them.
ま、成り行きだからな。礼を言われる筋じゃねえ。
Suddenly, he collapses limply.
ランサー
Rin can't catch him in time. Lancer's too weak to even lean against the wall now, and he slumps to the ground. His legs won't move. His limbs were already long dead. It seems nonsensical that he managed to stand up, kill his master, and set Rin free. A sudden cough of blood stains his blue armor further.
待ってて、すぐに傷を塞ぐから。
There's honestly no point. Rin rushes over to the bloody spearman, but he stops her with a hand.
無駄だ。俺のゲイボルクで破壊された心臓は簡単には治らん。大体な、そんな余分なマルカ残ってねえだろお前。
けどそれじゃ。
まあ気にするな。こういうのには慣れてる。英雄ってのはな、いつだって理不尽な命令で死ぬものなんだからよ。
His easygoing tone is the same as it always is. Even seconds away from death, the spearman doesn't change the way that he acts. Rin stands up wordlessly. Seeing that, Lancer breathes a sigh of relief, as if a weight was lifted from his shoulders.
いや、お互いつまんねえ相棒を引いちまったな。
そうね。けど、私のはつまんないっていうより、扱いづらいだけだったかな。
違いない。お前のような女が相棒だったら言うことはなかったんだが、あいにく昔からいい女とは縁がなくてな。
Well, Lancer, whatever story you're involved in next, specifically you, whoever you are, I can't remember his name. I don't want to look it up either in his file, but I do hope that he gets a really badass woman for a partner sometime, you know? For a good master.
まったく、こればっかりは何度繰り返しても治らねえみてえだ。
He chuckles dryly, and then...
さあ、早く行け。こいつは俺が連れて行く。お前は、お前の相棒のところに戻らないと。
The spearman urges the girl to leave. He prepares Ansus, the fire rune, in his hand. As soon as he inscribes it on the ground and charges it with all of his remaining magical energy, it'll burn the entire room to cinders. Rin understands his determination and turns to leave.
さよならランさん。短い間だったけど、私もあなたみたいな人は好きよ。
Yeah, again, like I said, Lancer really is the hero of this story. She runs off to the Great Hall.
小娘がもうちょっと年取って出直してこい。
A hearty guffaw escapes his lips. Flames engulf him. The blaze consumes Lancer and his master's body. Not a trace is left behind. Like a mirage, the crimson spear and azure armor disappear into the flames. Okay, hopefully this is the end of Kodamine. Hopefully that, you know, for sure finishes him off. Also, I think that was our longest interlude yet, so that was pretty cool. That was awesome. Identical swords clash. Shirou Emiya and the man's attacks are completely equal. Yet each time they clash, my blades break and I'm wounded badly. I'm cut deeply by attacks I should have intercepted. His konsho shatters my konsho and cuts me open in a sidelong slash. I desperately try to avoid the strike, but I can't. The wound isn't fatal, but it lacerates my muscles and will probably become a critical injury. I bite back the pain and try to knock the enemy's Bakuya out of his right hand. He shatters my weapon and blocks me there too. Our swords and skills should be the same, but I'm facing an insurmountable wall.
お前の感想と俺の感想が同等とでも思ったか。お前はまだまだ基本骨子の想定が甘い。いかにイメージ通りの外見材質を保とうが構造に利がなければ崩れるのは当然だ。イメージといえど筋が通ってなければ瓦解する。
Simultaneously, he unleashes attacks to cut open my flank and my forehead. I immediately project a pair of swords to parry with. I have a headache so bad it nearly blinds me. It isn't from the burden of the projection. It's that headache from before. The hunch I had when I was looking for Tosaka. The fever I get every time I face him. This time is the greatest burden yet, and it's driving my body crazy. I fend off slash after slash. I attempt to cut him down in return. And each time, the red headache burns my eyes. Is it the contradiction of Shirou Emiya and heroic spirit Emiya existing at the same time? Since the moment we recognized each other, my body has felt off every time we made contact. I traced his swordsmanship and even acquired his replication skills. It makes sense that I picked it up quickly. After all, his skills are the most optimal combat techniques for Shirou Emiya, honed over years of experience. How could I not take to them quickly? In trying to catch up to him, I've learned things about my future self that I should not have. My eyes go numb. Each swing of a sword, each shower of sparks creates flashes of light, robbing me of my vision. My skills can't keep up, and each attack dyes my vision red. I wouldn't mind it if that was all it was. My body is already torn to shreds. A headache is nothing compared to the feeling of having my stomach torn open with a branding iron. The problem is, the headache won't stop as long as there's something else to draw out from him.
都合5本目だな。投影による複製ではそろそろ限界か。お前の魔力量はよくわかっている。そのざまでは残り3本。わざわざあれを見せてやったというのに、未だそんな勘違いをしているとはな。
I hear a hint of disappointment in his taunts. The wrong idea? As if that matters right now. More importantly, I need to do something about this headache. It's coming from you.
ともあれ、至ったところで不可能ではあるか。今のエミヤ四郎が生成できる魔力では足りない。そう。どちらにせよ。
My headache worsens. He brandishes his swords as if to settle this once and for all.
貴様に称賛など
一部たりともなかったということだ。
and brings his swords down on my head in a crisscross slash. I raise my swords to defend and they shatter. My body goes numb like it's been pounded with a sledgehammer, and the headache burns. Well, hold on now. Burns not just my eyeballs, but my brain. It's flowing in. So, this, right now, is even scarier than the pain. They're his memories. The reason he's changed so much. I'm seeing fragments of the events that Shirou Emiya will experience in the future. Well, potentially, that is. I don't know if they're right or wrong. I'm sure nobody can be the judge of that. Beautiful things were ugly and ugly things were beautiful. Objectively, there was nothing repulsive about them. So what made him go astray? A sophistry, misrepresentation, treachery, narcissism. Those make up most of what I saw. I am the bone of my sword. And yet he didn't seem to mind. He swore oaths and had ideals to uphold. He didn't care what he lost. Even if others betrayed him, he believed that there would be a future as long as he didn't betray himself. If he never complained or even showed himself getting hurt. Steel is my body and fire is my blood. Then to the people around him, he was no different from a machine. He was useful to have around, so they used him. They only saw him as a tool. But even a machine can have ideals to uphold, so he accepted being treated as a convenient tool. I have created over 1,000 blades. Unknown to death. Nor known to life. It wasn't something he could tell anyone else. The more he failed to save people, and the more people he killed, the less he could profess his ideals. Eventually, his only option was to stick to them as resolutely as he could. The result? Shirou Emiya failed to uphold the ideals he dreamed of even once, and learned that he was a nuisance spouting foolish drivel. Have withstood pain to create weapons. Oh, wow. Look, this was his fate. Look, this is where you'll end up. My heart breaks. Don't feel sorry for him. 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 But my heart feels like it's going to break when I know that this is the path that awaits me. Yet those hands will never hold anything. Everything you believed in, everything you believe in, after you were shown that it was all a lie and a fanciful dream, you still... We clash again. This time he comes straight for my heart, not with the dual swords, but some spike-like sword. I retreat to gain some distance. I'm holding a sword I replicated in the spur of the moment. I fight against the nausea. What did I just see? Forget it. Forget you saw anything. I just need to defeat him now. I can't afford to dwell on anything else.
計算違いか。前世の自分を考慮、憑依させることで、かつての技術を習得する魔術があると聞くが、俺と打ち合うたびに、お前の技術は鍛えられていくようだな。
Panting, I ready myself for his next strike.
となると、引き出したものは投影技術だけではあるまい。その顔、今にも吐きそうな最低の面構えからすると、お前も見たな。
He holds his breath. Don't make me say it. Don't make me remember. If you tell me what I just saw, I...
ならば話は早い。それは全て事実だ。エミヤしろ!
The red cloak flutters. In an instant, he closes the gap and thrusts the spike at me. My weapon is destroyed in one blow. A sword I hastily projected for the first time can't hold up against his weapons. And yet, he throws aside his weapon while I'm unarmed. The next projection is Durandal, said to be a sword of conquerors. I skip 4 counts and instantly project a replica of his weapon. Of course, my imitation is broken with 1 attack. I've fallen. I was pushed back and fell backward onto the rubble. And then I'm surprised. Just that fall was enough to stain the rubble red. Huh. I just never noticed that my body is dead, both inside and out.
そこまでだ。叶わないと知ってなおここに現れる愚かさ。生涯くだらぬ理想にとらわれ、自らの意志を持たなかったまがい者。それが自身の正体だと理解したか。
His voice resounds. I'm covered in wounds. Each of them is deep enough to sink a finger into. I'm seriously screwed.
そんなものに生きている価値はない。何よりこの俺が確信しているのだ。エミやシロウという男の人生に価値などない。ただ救いたいから救うなど。そもそも感情として間違えている。人間として故障したお前は、初めからあってはならない偽物だった。
I have almost no magical energy left. To make matters worse, my magic circuits are burning. They've been burning since yesterday's projection, actually. Something that was about to break is now completely broken, that's all. But my body protests that it can still fight. I've just been playing tough, pretending that my broken heart is whole. So, I need to stand up and beat him.
無駄なことを。俺はお前の理想だ。叶うはずなどないと、今ので理解できたはずだが。
Can't a man dream? I invest what remains of my consciousness into all of my circuits. My nerves splinter and scream. Within myself, I weave together 8 counts without skipping a beat. I acquire his dual swords. Kansho and Bakuya, a pair of masterworks forged by an ancient smith. I swing. I'll keep attacking over and over with all of my remaining strength until I burn out. Dual swords need dual swords to intercept them. Archer switches weapons to Kansho and Bakuya, and then defends against my combo without taking a single step back.
そうか。認めるわけにはいかないのは道理だな。俺がお前の理想である限り、エミやシロウは誰よりも俺を否定しなければならない。
His calm words piss me off. He just keeps quipping at me while I can hardly even breathe. I attack desperately. He locks our swords together without parrying me. I'm being pushed back, weapons and all. There's a vast gap in our physical strength. I don't have a chance of winning a pushing match.
では聞くがな、シロウ。お前は本当に正義の味方になりたいと思っているのか？
Hell yeah. For an instant, the sudden question makes my mind go blank.
何を今さら俺はなりたいんじゃなくて絶対になるんだよ。
I put my muscle into it and glare right back at him. And he answers.
そう。絶対にならなければならない。なぜならそれはエミやシロウにとってただ一つの感情だからだ。逆らうことも否定することもできない感情。たとえそれが自身の内から現れたものでないとしても。
His heart-wrenching words stop me in my tracks. It's a desire that didn't come from within me. I deny it before I even consider what that means. I can't let him make me say it. I can't realize what he means. Deep down, I know that if I comprehend what he means, then Shirou Emiya's very foundation will crumble away.
ほう。 その様子ではうすうす感づいてはいたようだな。いや、初めから気づいていて、それを必死に遠ざけていただけだったのか。今の俺では思い出すことさえできないが。
I clamp my lips shut. I don't want to know. I know that I shouldn't know. Still, I finally realize that I have to know it. Shirou Emiya's paradox. The answer to what my mistake was, and what's wrong with me.
俺にはもはやお前の記憶などない。だが、それでもあの光景だけは覚えている。一面の炎と充満した死の匂い。絶望の中で助けを乞い、叶えられた時の感情。エミヤ・キリツグという男の俺を助け出した時に見せた。
There it is. I just knew we'd be getting that CG again. I'd accepted my death and my heart was empty. Then someone saved me. My rescuer smiled at me with tears in his eyes. When I saw that, I thought that he looked so happy.
そうだ。お前はただ一人助けられたことで、助けられなかった人々に後ろめたさを感じていたわけじゃない。ただ、エミやキリツグに憧れただけだ。あの男の、お前を助けた顔があまりにも幸せそうだったから、自分もそうなりたいと思っただけ。
Right. Back then, I wasn't the one who was saved. I consider a thought that I had been avoiding. If Kiritsugu caused that fire, then the guilt would have been unbearable. It was a tragedy without a single survivor. Kiritsugu must have searched for survivors like a man possessed. And then he found one, when none were expected. He found a child that should have been beyond helping, who shouldn't even have been alive. What a miracle that must have felt like. But I understood that he saved me. I didn't know his circumstances. It was good enough for me that someone rescued me from that hell. Even if the emotion was directed at himself, his will to save me and the earnestness of wishing for someone to be saved were all genuine. And that was enough. It was enough for me that Kiritsugu Emiya saved me after I had become nothing. That's why.
そう。子が親に憧れるのは当然だ。だが、お前はそれが行き過ぎた。エミやキリツグに。エミやキリツグがなりたかったものに憧れるだけならよかった。だが、最後に奴はお前に呪いを残した。言うまでもないだろう。
じいさんの夢は俺が。
That was the answer. A man even emptier than me heard my innocent words and trusted his wish to me in relief and passed away. From that moment on, Shirou Emiya had no choice but to become a hero of justice. My own feelings didn't matter. All I needed to do was become the person I looked up to, for the sake of someone I looked up to when I was young. The wish for everyone to be happy was an impossible one, which came from Kiritsugu, not me.
気づいているのだろう。シロ、お前の理想はただの借り物だ。エミやキリツグという男がなりたかったもの、エミやキリツグが正しいと信じたものを真似ているだけに過ぎない。
I'm actually pretty sure that Archer said this before, or something like that. I grit my teeth and desperately try to bolster my breaking heart. And yet...
正義の味方だと笑わせるな。誰かのためになるとそう繰り返し続けたお前の思いは決して自ら生み出されたものではない。そんな男が他人の助けになるなどと思い上がりも甚だしい。
His blades cut through the air. His swings, filled with reproach, rained down on me with unprecedented aggression. As I watch the raging flurry of blows, I accept that I'm going to die here just like I did 10 years ago. Impact after impact pounds me down. Once beautiful swordsmanship was deteriorated into brute force. My left arm trembles after blocking the strikes. The shock of it has broken my fingers holding the sword. I scrounge up every bit of mental focus that I have left to create a concho and just barely deflect another slash. He's got me. His first assault already pushed me to near death. I won't survive this next barrage of blows. Yet somehow, my heart is broken, but my body denies him with all its might. It screams that he's wrong, like a part of me earnestly feels that it's wrong to admit that he's right and let myself die here. I look up. My eyes aren't working. They don't see my enemy, they only replay his memories. Within them, there's an image of me huddled up like a turtle in its shell, trying desperately to survive. I hear more than the sounds of blades clashing. It's him. With each attack, he berates himself.
そうだ。誰かを助けたいという願いが綺麗だったから憧れた。
I take his sword strikes again and again. Bakuya is broken. Kansho is my last lifeline.
故に、自身からこぼれ落ちた気持ちなどない。これを偽善と言わず何という。
Kansho breaks, and my life begins to peter out. My chest hurts. Shirou Emiya's heart is torn apart, not by the waterfall of sword strikes, but by Archer's words.
この身は誰かのためにならなければならないと脅迫観念に突き動かされてきた。それが苦痛だと思うことも破綻していると気づく間もなく。
Denial after denial. With each rejection, I lose my will to fight. My body already wants to retire, unable to take the physical shock. And yet, that very same body keeps denying him desperately.
だが、所詮は偽物だ。そんな偽善では何も救えない。いいな。もとより何を救うべきかも定まらない。
I'm sent flying. I sail through the air, not unlike during the encounter with Berserker. But I plant my feet. His blow threatened to send me tumbling into the rubble, but I stand my ground with all my might. My body knows. It's stubbornly refusing to fall because it knows that it can't get up again once it does. I plant my broken Kansho in the ground and use it to support my weight. I pitch forward, nearly falling over, and I can't get up. I brace myself against Kansho with both hands, holding onto it like a walking stick. I must look pathetic. From the side, I might even look like I'm kneeling before him.
その理想は破綻している。自身より他人が大切だという考え、誰もが幸福であってほしい願いなど、空想のおとぎ話だ。そんな夢を抱いてしか生きられないのであれば、抱いたまま溺死しろ。
My life isn't worth living. No, he said that my entire life was worthless. My weapons are gone. It's futile to even stand up. Meanwhile, he doesn't even look winded, much less wounded. This duel is decided. No, it was from the very beginning. There was no way Shirou Emiya could ever match the heroic spirit Emiya. But this is wrong too. If the gap in our abilities was truly that large, then this silly scuffle wouldn't even happen. It's my heart that lost this fight. I'm weak because I realized that I'm wrong and accepted that he's right. I've only lost on that front. Because...
何?
Because my body has been protesting that it won't lose to you. Why else? Why else would it get stronger every time you dismiss my ideals as fake?
ふざけんな。根性。
I can reach him. I know I can. If my weapons are broken, I'll just use them as they are. If everything I have is broken, then I'll mobilize everything I don't have. If I haven't lost, then there are depths that I'm still yet to have reached. My headache throbs again. For an instant, I see his scenery, probably for the last time. I can't understand him, but I think I can learn from his pain. He's a hero whose incantations express and judge himself. Right now, I can't understand the will behind those words, but I'll accept them in your place. I chant the verse loud and proud. Emiya's own words hurt him. He accepted that and chose to kill me. That's all he wanted at the end of his long journey. Then, just as you deny me, I'll strike you down if it's the last thing I do. I whisper it without thinking. I look up. On the verge of death, I stand up to him. I swallow a glob of blood that was blocking my throat. The once fading Yang sword concho is cloaked in a concrete image once more. I've always known that, but I've kept believing in it because I think it's right. I followed in Kiritsugu's footsteps because it's a dream that won't come true and an impossible ideal. Even if it never comes true, if I keep running, I'll get close to it one day. Well, yeah, I guess obviously he's gonna know about that. I ready my sword. I don't care about that. Right now, I just... need to keep being Shirou Emiya until the very end. It is an unbelievable fight between swords. He charges in despite being fully wounded. His fingers are broken, his limbs shredded. He hasn't even realized that he's not breathing anymore. The speed is insignificant and the blows he delivers are mediocre. He may have absorbed Archer's knowledge and advanced to a point where he can fight him, but he's back to being a boy again. He executes a haphazard mediocre attack, and yet, that first blow is heavier than any of the other attacks before. Apathy turns to astonishment. His sword seems to shout. The boy swings a long sword faster than his opponent ever imagined. Where is this power coming from? The vigor of their clash reaches an unprecedented pitch. The man can't even pivot to defense. Each attack is lethal enough to take his head. He judges that this situation must be taken seriously and moves his swords accordingly. Up and down, left and right. The 4 slashes unleashed in an instant are enough to cut the boy to ribbons. But he blocks them. No. The boy launches a bladed tempest that overcomes the 4-fold technique. He wields his longsword with swift skill. The man senses that he must attack or be cut down. The longsword assails its dying enemy. The boy swings his sword foolhardily. The two sides struggle. Sparks fill the air, declaring that any who enter the ring will be torn apart. But this should be the dying spark of a walking corpse. With each attack, the boy's breathing becomes more labored, and he looks closer to collapse. But he takes another step and attacks again. Having seen this, the man is sure of something. His enemy doesn't have any strength left. The boy in front of him is a walking corpse. And yet why does the boy continue to wield the sword? As if he has infinite strength. He isn't conscious of it. He doesn't know what his opponent is doing, nor can he tell if his attacks are working. He cries out, his muscles begging for oxygen. They demand that he stop due to a lack of blood. There we go. And he pushes through it all with brute force. Only one thought occupies his mind. His feelings are fake. Just like this guy says, he probably can't become a hero of justice. As long as Shirou Emiya looks up to that goal, he'll reach the same destination as the man before him. But he felt that it was beautiful. He knows that it's hypocritical to value others over himself. And still, he longed for such a life, wondering how nice it would be to live that way. It's the only motivation driving his body forward on the verge of death. He can't hear what his enemy is saying. It speaks to how fierce the clash is and how meek his foe's voice is. Looking closer, the boy's hands gripping the sword have melded with the hilt. He must have done it to secure the sword, but by doing that, he will directly feel the impact from the sword. He's bloody, and if he takes a single step back, he'll pitch over. The boy's accepted that each swing of his sword will be hellish suffering. It irritates the man, but he takes it. It seems to offend his stubbornly persistent enemy. But he's just as irritated with himself for not backing down when he knows that even one step back would end this. But how could he retreat now? There's no room for parley now, and he's in a pitched duel with his enemy. It would be shameful to turn his back to the childishly forged sword, and it would be utterly humiliating not to meet the attacks head-on. All it would take for his enemy to destroy himself is for the man to retreat one step. But he senses that he'll have conceded something decisive if he backs down now. Soon, this worry will fade. His enemy is at his limits. 3 more attacks. If he repels just 3 attacks, then his enemy will destroy himself. He clicks his tongue at his own foolishness. Just earlier, he thought the boy had 2 attacks left, and then he delivered more than 10. The boy isn't going to fall. The boy's voice is inaudible. The boy, who's on the brink of death, frantically goes up against the obstacle before him. And then he sees him. He looks upon him with his own eyes for the first time. I keep swinging my sword until I reach my foe with arms ready to fall off. The only thing that can be heard is a strained yell. That shout is the price I pay for each exchange of blows. There are the people who weren't saved and myself who wasn't saved. The memories come unbidden, and I swore that I'd never let this happen again. How many years have passed? There were things that were lost, things I lost. There will always be things that I forget and fail to pick up. That's why I made an oath I won't forget. To become a hero of justice, to always do what's right. Even if it isn't my own wish, even if it's just a way to lighten my own sins, I'll keep that oath. I'll make the dream come true. When I was young, someone saved me, entrusted me with his dream, and passed away alone. I believe in the wish behind his words. Even if the whole world shuns me and the oath turns out to be a curse, I won't give it up. And then, the man realizes that there is no end to this repeating conflict. This enemy will not stop. The enemy will not stop on his own. His enemy makes each attack with desperate abandon, but he isn't even aware of who he's fighting. The boy is trying to cut down himself. He is the one who is doing the obstructing. The man's enemy is swinging his sword for everything he's believed in and everything he'll continue to believe in. Realizing that, the man gnashes his teeth. He sees the boy keep fighting, even if he knows he can't win, even if he knows there's no point. That is the exact mistake the man once made. So why? Why does he want to see how far this boy will go? He raises his long sword. The enemy's attack can no longer be trifled with. He repels the attacks and counters with a strike meant to crush the enemy's skull with certainty. The high-pitched sound of metal. The boy repels what should have been a decisive blow. He couldn't even stop one attack until now, but he easily defended against a strike delivered with the man's full might. He holds his breath. The enemy flicks his sword and resheaths it in a single large stance. But his eyes, they're looking straight at him. The impact breaks one of my limbs. My sense of pain isn't numb at all. The pain is enough to knock me out, but I push through it with sheer rage. I'm dehydrated. I can't afford to lose any more liquid. The enemy's left arm is wide open. I've lost one side of my body, so this will have to be the last blow. But that thought doesn't enter my head. All I can think is... He slashes with the longsword in an effort to protect his exposed left chest. He can make it. It would be easy to close the distance. This is my last chance. That's the only thought on my mind. Even if Shirou Emiya is a fake, this is real. He wants everyone to be happy. It's an ideal that everyone's felt, I'm sure. So I won't take it back. Because this dream will always be... His gaze is straight. Mistakes and lies. He shakes off everything that pierces him. And he continues to run without stopping. The words drive straight into his chest. The attack comes, fueled by hell-bent determination. There's enough time to block it, but the gears never turn in his head, and the battle draws to an abrupt close. Honestly, that whole scene, guys, was fucking beautiful. I could not stop. I didn't want to stop. He hears the sound of the blade piercing his chest. The surprised one is, of course, the Red Knight. The boy bet everything on a desperate attack, so he would expect it to defeat his opponent. He couldn't afford to make any other choice anyway. So it is the knight who is surprised. Truly, he wonders why he didn't defend against an attack that would have been easy to stop. I'm about to collapse, so I lean on my good right leg. I drove Kancho into Archer's chest. Has she been watching the whole time? Saber asks a question from the entrance to the hall. Okay, we're actually going to need to stop there, actually. Like, we are greatly out of time on this one. But, you know, just what a fucking episode. Honestly. That was just so much fun to just go through. It really did feel like it. But according to the, title of the chapter we're on, I guess we're at a bit of a conclusion. It seems like we're getting close to being able to wrap this plot point up. And then I guess we'll deal with Gilgamesh somehow, Holy Grail somehow, and I guess that's our story. But we'll see. We'll see how everything ties together here to end off Unlimited Blade Works. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode, guys. This was a really fun one. If you enjoyed, be sure to leave a like, subscribe for more, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Take it easy.